Kent Jones from the WrestlingTimes.com. Recently watched a video on YouTube. This is what the YouTube wrestling community has come to. They really think that the problem here in professional wrestling is that the storylines are going too slow. Too slow. That's what they think the stories are going too slow. You know, what really bothers me is that some of these people breathe my oxygen. They take air that I could breathe. And it frustrates me. Someone in TNA might actually watch this video and think, too slow, that's the problem. That's what we're doing wrong. We're going too slow. Yeah, what we should do, being sarcastic here, is put the world title right on the champion. Have aces and eights go straight for the world title. Have aces and eights win the damn tag team titles. Have aces and eights, get control of the company, because that worked so well when Immortal had control of the company, right? That was just a bombshell success. If aces and eights would just get control of TNA, that's what we wanted. We thought that's where it was going. They went after Sting, they went after Hogan. I've actually seen people suggest this is what TNA should do with aces and eights. Well, I'm here to tell TNA and everyone who defines themselves as sane and everyone who breathes oxygen for a good reason and not wasting other people's oxygen for functional faults. A slow progression of a storyline is always a good thing. To reiterate, a slow progression of a storyline is always a good thing. Folks, this is Wrestling 101. The faster you go, there's nothing left to do when you climb the mountain. You're at the peak. If you know any wrestler, I mean any wrestler that has any fundamental understanding of professional wrestling, he will tell you that whenever a pro wrestling match starts, that if it starts with a flying dive to the outside of the ring, the match has failed. Completely failed. There's nothing. Where do you go after that? The point is, matches should always start with lockups, very slow pace, and there's plenty of ways to build up. These should be the climatic moments of the match. If a match opens like that, it's bound to fail because there's nowhere else to go. And storylines follow those same fundamentals. If you win the world title, if you win the tag team titles, if you take control of the company, fundamentally, where do you go after that? You're dead. The storyline's over. So if you've had a group like Aces and Eights who've been in the company for 6 months and they have yet to achieve the world title, have yet to achieve the television title, have yet to achieve the tag team titles, and have yet to achieve taking over the company, those are all places the story can go. You do those in the beginning, the story has nowhere to go but down. This is Wrestling 101. And anyone who suggests that this stable should have already won the world title, the tag titles, or taken over control of the company has no understanding of wrestling. And history says what I'm saying is correct. You look at the NWO, the most successful stable faction ever. Produced ratings, merchandise, however you want to look at it. It is the measuring stick of how to do a stable. Doesn't mean we should copy it, because God knows we've done enough of that. But when they achieved control of the company, when they achieved the world title, the storyline was done. And any attempt to bring it back was done. This storyline, as long as they can hold that off, and if it gets too stale or too slow, you will always be able to use that to pick it back up. This storyline is great. If anyone in TNA is watching this, this is how you do a storyline. You're doing it correctly. Take as much time as possible to do every single reveal. When you get your final group established, establish it more, and then more, and then more. One TV title, the TV title, is a great first step in establishing this company's ultimate goal is control. But that is enough for now. It leaves plenty to be desired, sure, but that is the point of progression in a storyline. We still can go after the tag titles after we establish more characters. When more characters are established, we can go after the tag belts. Then we can go after the world title. Or before the world title, think about getting control of the company in some form, fashion, or way. And ultimately, you have the tag titles. And I want to make this clear, no stable, no faction whatsoever has ever held the tag titles, the world titles, the TV title, the Knockouts tag team titles. There has never been a faction in TNA history that has held every championship in the company. Never happened. So it would be a milestone for a TNA faction to do this. I hope Aces and Eights is the one that does do it. TNA has left that open, whether purposely or not. Main Event Mafia never had all the championships. Fortune never had all the championships. Sports Entertainment Extreme never had all the championships. Considering how many major stables have been in TNA, it's quite surprising, but quite enjoyable for me to know that there's never been a stable that has held all the championships, and Aces and Eights might be the first to do it. And if so, I hope it's true. I hope it's what happens. It will be a milestone. And for TNA, someone who's called every TNA match to say, this has never happened, no stable. And he lists Main Event Mafia, he lists Sports Entertainment Extreme, he lists Fortune, he lists the Front Line. He lists all these major TNA stables and says, we've had a lot come close. LAX with the tag titles. Mafia had the world title with Kurt Angle and the Sting. I think Fortune had it with AJ Styles. But no stable has ever had all the titles. Immortal had control of the company and the world title with Jeff Hardy, but never all the championships. So, there's plenty in the scale of TNA that this stable can do that no other stable in TNA has ever done. And there's plenty of reveals still left. For anyone to say that Aces and Eights has lost steam, listen, I can tell you, my biggest concern is that TNA fails to deliver. I'm going to play out other scenarios. Because TNA getting you to the hook, for me personally, has never been a problem. I've spoken this many times. Jeff Jarrett, I don't think I have to tell people that watch this on YouTube. Jeff Jarrett won the world title in Orlando. Earl Hebner tipped over the ref. The Orlando Screwjob, as I called it, and got heat for it, by the way. I love that moment, but it had no follow-up. And all it was a moment. And I knew this one. Austin Aries won the world title. I said, they screwed up Rude. It was a great moment, but it had no follow-up. I knew that one was coming. I told everybody. I said, they gave away Rude being the champion to go against James Storm at Bound for Glory for the sake of a great moment at Destination X. That was going to be just that, a moment, not a story, not a progression in history for TNA developing a new star like many people thought, but a single breath of 15 seconds, a moment. And then there was another one of my Slammiversary favorite moments. Samoa Joe hands the world title to his arch nemesis, Kurt Angle, and helps him and joins the Main Event Mafia. Again, great moment, no follow-up. So I'm not surprised to sit here and tell you they've done everything great. TNA has done everything great, but I'm not confident that when this is all said and done, I'll be satisfied. See, I have no problems with Aces and Eights right now. I think the way it's being handled is tremendous. I am tremendously impressed with Doc, and I've heard TNA as well, and that gets me excited. But I was impressed with Rude winning the world title and holding it and thinking it was going to go to Bound for Glory, and TNA was going to do the right thing and put the title on James Storm. And all the way till Destination X, I thought they were doing great. And they lost focus. I think they always had an intention to go to Bound for Glory, but they said, let's throw a hook in there and be different. Let's catch people off guard, which they did, but for all the wrong reasons. Samoa Joe didn't really progress much. Main Event Mafia was dead in a couple weeks after that big moment. I can go on and on. TNA has never lacked in giving an exciting storyline. They've lacked in an exciting follow-up. After the Aces and Eights are gone, do we get a stable that will forever be remembered? Do we have established all the members? Is Doc a main event player? Or, which is what we should strive, is to get the new guys in the Aces and Eights over and turn them into main event players. But is all that happening? We will see. I have no problems with the progression of this storyline. If it takes another year, I'm fine with it. Only thing I am hoping for is a strong delivery. If TNA pulls off a strong delivery, if there is a moment when Doc and a group of young guys has gotten over and they're all hoisting the World Heavyweight Championship, the Tag Team Championships, the Female Tag Team Championship, because then that means you establish the Tag Team titles for the women as something important. The TV title is important, the World title is important, the X Division title is important. They get to say, this is your way to the World title, well, we own it too. So then you could even do a weird twist where they own the X Division. So instead of going for the World title to try to get and re-control, take Aces and Eights down, someone has to go for the X Division title to get it from Aces and Eights, to get back to the World title at Destination X, and you get that slow, a different kind of twist, because usually when a faction is done, it's over at one event. You could do the slow progression where they're getting the title back at Destination X to get a shot at the World title, because there's all kinds of ways. Again, if there's ever a moment where all the people are holding up all the championships and all the championships seem meaningful, and you have a bunch of young established talent that got over because of this storyline, that is the ideal situation. Slow progression is not the problem. The problem has not occurred yet, but I do fear it, which is delivery in the end. Does what I would hope TNA want to do, which is establish young stars, make the belts meaningful, and get ratings, sell merch. All these things are accomplished. The storyline is 100% a success story. And I could see this happening. Again, delivery, delivery, delivery. Progression, progression, progression. You don't do this because you can only do this. you do this. Just a thought. I'm Ken Jones from theWrestlingTimes.com. Head on over there, get your pro wrestling news, WWE news, Ring of Honor news, doesn't matter, TNA news, everything in between, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, it doesn't even matter. All the news, remember, check it on the side over there. That's how the layout of the site works right now. All stuff on the side. If you're looking for a certain kind of news, just click on it. That'll take you to that. Brings up nothing but that kind of news. And there's even that search thing. It's great on my site. Type in, search it. It'll search all the stuff that's on my site. And it'll tell you if I have any stories regarding whatever you're looking. If you're wanting news on aces and eights, you can put aces and eights in the little search box. Bang. Nothing but aces and eights news. WWE news. Or you can just click the WWE news tab on the side. There's many ways. TheWrestlingTimes.com. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy my thoughts on aces and eights.